Is there a bigger betrayal in the NFL than a front office completely abandoning their own development project in the middle of a championship window? Imagine believing you have your future locked down, only to watch the organization pull the rug out from under you for a veteran who should be eyeing retirement. That is exactly the disaster unfolding right now at the Eagles training facility, and it's a situation that has the entire league buzzing. The tension is high, the stakes are massive, and honestly, it's a total mess. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. This is a story that goes beyond simple roster construction. It is a cold, hard look at how brutal the business of professional football really is. We're looking at a young quarterback who was supposed to be the heir apparent, suddenly finding himself fighting for his life against a 38-year-old veteran who has seen more NFL snaps than most coaches have had hot dinners. If you think this is just a normal training camp competition, you are missing the point entirely. This is a survival match, and only one of these guys is going to be standing when the regular season starts. But wait until you hear exactly why the team made this move, and why some people think it's a sign that the backup position in Philly is officially cursed. Let's go back to the beginning. We're talking about a player who came in as a sixth-round pick, someone who was supposed to be a long-term project. For years, he sat, he learned, and he waited for his turn to run the show. There were flashes of brilliance, those moments in the preseason where he looked like a total masterclass in pocket passing. He did everything asked of him. He was supposed to be the guy behind the starter. The front office seemed to love him. They even cleared out other backups to make room for his ascent. It felt like a guaranteed path. Then, out of nowhere, the hammer dropped. The front office brought in an aging veteran, a guy who has been through the ringer with half the league. And let's be real, this wasn't a move made for locker room presence. This was a move made because they stopped believing in the kid. Why would a team that prioritizes young, cheap, and developing talent suddenly pivot to a guy entering his 16th season? The answer is as simple as it is ugly. They don't trust what they have behind their franchise leader. They looked at the tape from the end of last season. They looked at the performance during the high-stakes moments, and they panicked. And honestly, can you blame them? The starter has missed time in 3 of his 4 seasons. When you're chasing a Super Bowl, you cannot have a backup who makes you sweat every time the starter hits the turf. The coach came out after mandatory minicamp and basically confirmed the worst-case scenario. He didn't hand the job to the incumbent. He opened it up. He put the young guy and the veteran on an even playing field. When you have a young prospect and you force him to compete against a veteran with nearly 170 starts, you are effectively telling the world, I don't know if this kid can play. Who is actually to blame for this situation? The young quarterback who didn't seize the moment, or the front office for setting him up to fail? Drop a name in the comments, and let's see who you're siding with. Now, let's talk about the veteran in the room. He is a 3-time Pro Bowler. He has started in the playoffs. He has seen every blitz, every coverage, and every defensive scheme imaginable. When you bring a guy like that into the building, you aren't just adding a player. You are adding a coach on the field. The young guy knows this. He knows that every throw he makes in practice is being scrutinized against the steady, boring, efficient work of a veteran who doesn't make mistakes. The pressure is insane. We're talking about a guy fighting for his career. If he loses this battle, he's not just losing the backup job. He's likely losing his spot on the roster entirely. The trade rumors are already heating up. There are teams in this league desperate for a backup with his physical profile and his experience in a professional system. If he gets traded, it's a complete admission of defeat. But keep your eyes on how he responds. This is the ultimate test of his character. Does he fold under the pressure of having a legend breathing down his neck? Or does he use it to finally unlock that potential everyone claimed he had? The next few weeks of training camp are going to be a total war. Every single rep matters. Every single throw is being graded by guys who are looking for any excuse to move on. It makes you wonder, why play these games at all? Why not just commit to the youth? Well, the reality is that the NFL doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about wins. And if the front office decides that a 38-year-old has a better chance of winning a game in December than a 25-year-old with a few good preseason games, they're going to make that move every single time. It is cold, it is calculated, and it is the standard operating procedure for every winning organization. There is a lesson here for everyone watching. Even when you think you've done everything right, you've put in the work, you've kept your head down, you've hit your targets, the organization can still look elsewhere if they aren't convinced. It is a harsh reality. As we look toward the start of the season, the focus is going to stay squarely on this quarterback room. It's the most interesting storyline of the summer, and it's one that is going to keep evolving. Are we going to see a total collapse, or will we see a comeback story for the ages? And wait until you hear the latest on the practice rotations. Things are getting even more heated than the media reported. Everything about this screams high-octane drama. We have a franchise leader who needs a reliable secondary option. We have a veteran who is starving for one last shot.
It's caught at the 30 by Devontae Smith. It really dictates the defense.
There is no middle ground here. It's either a total disaster or a massive turnaround. The strategy behind the veteran signing is also worth a closer look. Think about the cost-benefit analysis. A seventh-round pick. That is essentially pennies on the dollar for a guy with that kind of resume. It's a low-risk, high-reward move that keeps the team competitive even if things go sideways. It shows you exactly how much the organization values winning right now compared to developing for the future. What's coming up next is going to change how we look at this entire roster. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the coaching staff's expectations and why they're being so tight-lipped about the starters' health. The whispers out of the training complex are that the situation is even more complex than it appears on the surface, and that the team is essentially running a secret audition for the rest of the league. So, where does this leave us? We're left watching two guys fight over the scraps of a backup job, knowing that the winner gets to hold the clipboard for one of the best starters in the game. It sounds small, but in the NFL, that job is the difference between a championship run and a complete collapse. Think about the implications. If the young guy wins, it proves the team was right to trust him. It validates the plan. It builds confidence. If the veteran wins, it proves that the team is ready to do whatever it takes to win now, even if it means sacrificing the development of their own draft pick. It is a classic football dilemma, and it's playing out right before our eyes. The intensity is only going to ramp up from here. As we get into the heat of training camp, the fatigue sets in, the tempers flare, and the real personalities start to come out. That is when we will know who is truly made of the right stuff to survive this kind of pressure. Is the young guy really as talented as the scouts thought, or was he a product of a system that he didn't fully master? That's the question everyone is asking, but nobody wants to answer. The only way to find out is to watch them in the face of real, high-pressure competition. And let me tell you, it's going to be absolute carnage on the practice field. Could we see a total shift in the offense depending on who takes the snaps? It's a valid question. The veteran has a different style than the young guy, and the coaching staff might have to tweak the entire playbook based on who wins this battle. That alone makes the outcome of this competition vital for the team's success this year. Don't think for a second that this won't impact the way the rest of the team plays. When the quarterback position is uncertain, it ripples through the whole locker room. The wide receivers, the tight ends, even the offensive line, they all have to adjust. It creates a level of instability that can be dangerous if it isn't resolved quickly. So stay tuned. We're going to be tracking every single snap, every throw, and every move the coaches make as this situation reaches its boiling point. It's a wild ride, and you won't want to miss a single second of the fallout. Who do you think has the upper hand right now? Is it the veteran's experience or the young guy's potential? Drop your predictions below, and tell me why you think the front office made the move they did. We are breaking this down all the way through the final roster cuts, and I want to hear your take on whether this was a genius move or a total failure. And really, when you step back and look at the big picture, this is what makes the NFL the greatest league on the planet. It's not just about the games. It's about the drama behind the scenes, the moves nobody sees coming, and the constant battle for survival. We're witnessing a turning point for this franchise, and we're going to be here to analyze every single part of it. The heat is on, the competition is fierce, and the stakes have never been higher. Stick with us, because this is going to be one of the most intense battles of the entire 2026 offseason. You don't want to miss how this story ends.